So the campaign is over. I just wanted to show off this box that I bought to house a bunch of the stuff that I have for the campaign. It's a really cool box. Got it off of eBay, and the never-ending dream of actually running something at a table at some point in my life has kept it around. So anyway, inside it opens up like so. I have some portfolios for keeping stuff, character sheets and whatnot. These are kind of more for fun. I don't remember where I picked them up. Here's the original 1930s National Geographic magazine that inspired the At the Mountains of Madness story. It has a very long article in here called The Conquest of Antarctica by Air by Richard Byrd, Rear Admiral, U.S. Navy, retired. And this is I bought this off of eBay. This is the one that actually inspired the story, and a lot of the detail you'll see reflected in the story is from this article. So very cool. Two little idols, probably found somewhere in the city: the Elder Thing and the Shoggoth. Not to scale, but very cool. These are from Propnomicon, and I like those very much. Let's see what this is. Oh yeah, the Piri Reis map, which is part of the second edition, but not part of the first edition. This is printed with the idea of using it as a handout, of course, but it figures in Lexington's office in New York, at her estate. I think it's supposed to be the original that's there. This is a very old map. It's the first map that ever showed the South Pole, supposedly, and that's why it's part of the Antarctic mythology. Got the narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym here, original 1930 edition. Bought one for each of the players. Got a little book club pamphlet in mine, and sent those out, and thought that was kind of fun to have as a handout. So, yep, copyright 1930. All right. Here, a map of Antarctica that I found online and had printed, and never used. There's a similar, this might actually be that one. There's a similar one in, I think, the German edition of Beyond the Mountains of Madness, the same one, but just printed. I think that actually is that one. I think mine is different. This is from that. Okay, this is kind of a rarity. This is the Game Master screen, or the Keeper screen rather, for Beyond the Mountains of Madness, and it has a bunch of stuff inside of it. Here's the screen. It's a little bit of a little bit lazy. It's the same image mirrored a bunch of times. I love this image, but it's a little weak. It's also one of these old flimsy screens, so like you put it up and it falls down. But it has a bunch of stuff inside of it that really is related to Antarctica. So wind chill table, frost bite table. A lot of stuff that I would actually love to get into, but I think would deplete the characters pretty fast. Other than that, inside of this is a booklet with all of the handouts. I actually took the PDF that I found online for this and printed that out on newspaper paper, and I have all that. But then we played it online, so actually the only thing the players ever saw were a photoshopped version of that. This is just a cover for this pack. I bought it unopened and opened it because that's the way I am. Here is a map of Antarctica. This is the Game Master's map, or the Keeper's map. I keep saying Game Master. Of Antarctica, with the mountain range, the tower, the city, everything kind of in there, and the Lexington base over here, the Barsmaya Falcon base over here, the white statue that's mentioned in the book that didn't appear in our campaign. It's in here as well, and then there's the Barsmaya Falcon cache here, Lace Camp. So kind of a cool map. It's a little big. It's nice to have it, I guess, but I don't know how I would use it in game at all. Dock passes, which, you know, I don't know, fine, not really very usable. The final chapter of the Pym book, and this is kind of a weird fold-out thing. I don't think I've actually ever folded this out before, but it's the last chapter, but printed back and forward on this kind of poster map thing. It's a little funny. I actually have a version. I made my own version that I printed out and aged, and it has stamps from when it was in possession of the Germans. It's a copy that they made, and then they stamped it, and it has various stamps, including from, I think I put one in there from their departure city in Germany, which is called Friedrichshafen, which is the German version of Frederikshavn, which is the city that I grew up in, along with several of my players and good friends. All right, what else? Here's a photograph of the Gabrielle. So, at dock. It's actually pretty hard to find good photos of this type of ship. It's a tramp steamer from the Second World War. There were a lot of them built, but it's not easy to find. You can find model kits though. Here's a decal with the logo for the expedition. Here's a patch, cloth patch with another logo, slightly different one. I always preferred this one, and that's the one we use, and I have on the website, and I have it in the theme for the virtual tabletop. Here's it's this Gabrielle decal. You can put it on your arm and be a real sailor. A German letter from Johann to Johann from Lümmler, which is I think that's the one that hands over the Pym book. And then finally, an ad for the Antarctos cycle, which I also have on a shelf somewhere nearby. So these things here, these go back in this envelope. Or not. I'll do that another time. All right, so that is the Keeper Screen. This is actually pretty rare. It cost me $100 or something to get, but it's cool. It's a nice rarity. Here's the French Keeper Screen for the second edition of Call of Cthulhu, or Beyond the Months of Madness. And you know, just a pretty straightforward screen. I'm actually not sure if it has anything on there. My French is a little rusty. But on the other side, it has some of the artwork that featured in the French and German editions, which is nice, but a little photoshoppy and whatnot. But at least it's not the same image repeated over and over. I really feel like this is a campaign that could do with having some great art done for it. All right, some character sheet stuff. I'm not sure what that is. I think I printed out some. Yeah, these are some of my handouts. These were never aged or anything, but these are my handouts that I made. Warning letter again. Printouts of the screen. Not sure what that's for. Extra stuff. This is from my second attempt at starting this, and I abandoned it because I didn't have the time. But there's a really good PDF that is a timeline doc that just says, here are all the things that happen in every chapter, and you can go through and make sure you kind of hit it. I usually have this open to some extent. I copied it over into I have a notes doc that I keep open while we play, and I kind of just made sure that I knew where we were going. That was invaluable in picking up the campaign again after, you know, a pause of 3 months, 6 months, or a year. It helps. More props, probably, well, I should just say manifests. Oh yeah, manifests. Woo. All right, now we're getting to the good stuff. Okay, these are my aged props. So this is printed on actual newspaper. paper that you can just buy on Amazon and then print it out. I recommend doing it on an inkjet. That worked pretty well, even though there's some streaking. But these feel really good, actually. I didn't do any aging to them other than just print it and then just left it, and it feels like this. Here is one of the telegrams that I sent. I should cover that. This is Christian. I made an extra copy, I think. And it has a Danish invitation on it, actually. Originally it was supposed to be just Danes. I'm actually kind of happy that I got to play it in English. So let's see, newspaper articles. There's a coin missing somewhere. I have some props somewhere. These are some stuff that I got. I actually don't remember where I got this, but this is filled out by me to make some cool props. Put that here. I printed out some photos for Antarctica. So here they are. Not all of them turned out great, but it was kind of cool to have as just little mementos. This one it wasn't made by me, but I photoshopped out the city stuff that's here because I didn't want to give anything away. This is Lakes Camp, pretty cool. The mountains, the Miskatonic University expedition. Here's my version of the letter to Johan with my version, of the PIM document with this is Friedrichshafen and various other appropriate, including the swastika there, because those damn Nazis are everywhere. All right, so here is some more stuff. So this is from the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society at the Mountains of Madness radio play that they did. These are photos that came with that, and these are really cool. There's a little man there. It says Miskatonic University Antarctic Expedition. That's pretty cool. These are drawings from the same. This is one that I printed out. Somebody made this. This is a drilling rig from Peabody. And here is the thing that took the most time to make. The actual Dyer script, manuscript, printed out and aged all the way through. This is the entire book. I am forced into speech because men of science have refused to follow my advice without knowing why. So some of the prop work of that's cool. A notebook, Miskatonic University and Arctic Expedition, empty inside. There's a mortician's receipt. I don't know what to use that for. A library card, and then just an empty note book, which is kind of cool, but it puts stuff inside of it that I would prefer not to, because it doesn't feel authentic, so that's a little weird. Cup, commemorative cup. Oh yeah, the Antarctos cycle that I was mentioning before, which is fine. It's a good book. The annoyingly named Beyond the Mountains of Madness book, which is another anthology of Mountains of Madness related stories. Most of them I didn't care too much for, but one of them is very good. It's the one called The Second Wave of Fear by Joseph S. Pulver Sr. It's a story that follows, it just views the story from the point of view of the Shoggoths, and it's written really well. I love it. I almost handed it out as a dream handout doc prop thing for people. Some notes of mine. Let's see, what else do we have here? Commemorative coin from the Miskatonic Expedition. Cool. Here's a prop that I made. This is where that sticker I was showing before goes. So this is, it's actually inside. Trilobite, aged a little bit, that I found online. Actual real trilobite. So that's there. Here are some more fantastic Propnomicon pieces. I wish I could play this at the table one day, so these could kind of be handed out, but These are all from Probnomicon, and some of them have been out of print or stock or whatever you call it. And these are pretty cool. I think there might be a new one that I should be getting. And then finally, everything's falling over. This star that they find. Finally, Antarctic Explorer minis, Shoggoth mini, Innsmouth Gold found on the abandoned ship in the ice, and an Elder thing. Never going to paint those. Photos. This is actually a printout of this is where I live, so I thought it was fun to see. That house next to the bridge is not there anymore. It got moved to somewhere else. Finally, another patch, not as good as the other one. 2 penguins that are actually USB drives, and I sent these to my players so that they could get a bunch of handout stuff digitally, including some sounds. And finally, the most important piece, a soap Shoggoth. Tikalili. All right, now how do I get all this stuff back? All right, let's get this out of here. And just a few more things. So let's start with the actual campaign book. Of course, we know this one. I have the soft cover. I never splurged to get the hardcover because, well, I have this already, and who has the money? That money has to go to other stuff. So these are actually really cool. This is a fairly new one. This came out last year, volume 1 and 2, of Gu Tanabe's manga adaptation, and I love it. I think his characters are a little, I don't fully love his characters and the way he adapted them, but everything else about this is really, really cool. His style is fantastic. It's dark. Look at that. So good. Yeah, this is some good stuff. So highly recommend getting these two. I was eagerly anticipating them when they came out. Here is another adaptation, also a manga, which is a modernized version of the story, the original story. I don't know what that looks like, but it's not as good. It's much more simplistic. It doesn't even take place in the 30s and so on. You can see here that it's I didn't love this, and it's not in English anyway, so you can kind of follow it. German edition of the campaign, 3 books, like so. And I don't, well, wrong order, I guess. I don't read German that well. I got it mostly for completeness sake, and because I wanted to kind of get some of the art in it and reference a couple things. I did find a few things that were good. There's some more detail in some of the drawings here and there that I pulled out and actually used in our campaign, but on the whole, just for completeness sake. I don't actually, there's that map again, I don't actually love the treatment of it. I mean, see how dark everything is on this? If you're in a dark room, you can't read a damn thing on these pages. The graphics are often low res. It's a lot of like black and white imagery like this. I didn't love that, but it does have stuff like this, higher res versions of the Wallaroo where they find the gold. It has this art, which is cool, and I like that. It's got a few things like this. This is new art as well. This is actually, by the way, not the correct Boeing. It has the backward swept windows. It should be having the forward swept, which is a 247D. And that really bothers me because this version is a much uglier version of the Boeing. But it does have various other things, including manifests. But I don't like handouts like this either. Like, how are you supposed to give this to people? These are somebody made the handout and then took a photo of it and put it in the book. Like, that doesn't work. It's like not very high quality handouts and so on. Don't want to diss people's work, but I'm not in love with the treatment this got. And also, by the way, these books are called roughly. My German's a little rusty, but Arrival in Antarctica, the Secret City, and the Dark Tower. Now, I go to sit down at the table and play with my group, and I bring the Secret City. Before they know what the campaign is about, they're going to know there's a Secret City. I bring the Dark Tower, they're going to know there's a Dark Tower. I like to keep those things secret. That's part of the fun. Here's the French editions. This came with the French screen and just has a bunch of stuff in it. These are also handouts. Again, not great. Just, I almost can't even read it. It's super small. Like, it's just not great. But fine. It exists. And essentially the same handouts as the German version. Some of which is good. I mean, these, if anybody has read the campaign, these versions in the English version, these drawings in the English version are very simplistic, and it's nice to actually have higher res versions of them to use. So there's definitely that. Same for some of this stuff. This map, by the way, this is a good map. I actually didn't use it. I should have used it. I used the one from the original campaign, but yeah, maybe I should pull some of this into my blueprint. But this is what I'm talking about in terms of more detailed drawings of some of the locations on the ship and stuff like that you don't get otherwise. And the BFE base, which is just square boxes in the second or in the first edition campaign. So overall, good stuff. I think I have that map somewhere as well, by the way. I'm not sure where that is. But that is roughly, I think there's probably a couple of things. Oh, I know. All right, 2 more things. One, I kickstarted this statue of an elder thing, which is fairly cool. I like it. It's nice to have. And then the final piece, which is from H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society, is this, the original sketch and notes that Lovecraft made. Is a reproduction. He made it on the back of an envelope like this, and H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society put it out, and you can see the drawing of the elder thing here, and an abandoned drawing of an elder thing, different version. Pretty cool on both sides, by the way, with a little stamp from the Historical Society on there as well. So that's it. I don't know that I will ever hang this anywhere, but I liked collecting this stuff. It was really fun to spend a lot of time in this world. I kind of hope that I can do that again with the campaign and fall in love in the same way that I did with this one, because this was really a lot of fun, and even if it's hard to run at times, but my favorite campaign and role-playing supplement ever, for sure. Thanks.